Good morning. Today I am reading an excerpt from Love on the Mulberry Grove. Chapter 1, District 52, Randolph County, Virginia. Born in Randolph County in September 1843, Louisa Culverson of Free Octoroon was the fourth child of 7 siblings born to Anna Culverson. According to the 1850 U.S. Census, Louisa and her siblings were raised by their mother, Anna, and their grandfather, Peter, both Free Octoroon farmers in the outskirts of District 52, Randolph County, Virginia. Because of their skin color, Louisa and her siblings were recognized as Octoroons, allowing many of Louisa's siblings to pass as white, but lived in constant fear of prosecution if they ever ventured within certain areas of District 52 or Beverly Township, also located in Randolph County. An octoroon is a person having 1/8 black ancestry, whereas a quadroon is a person having 1/4 black ancestry, the offspring of a mulatto and a white parent. These cultural classifications differed from the one-drop theory, by which a single drop of Negro blood made a person legally black. Nevertheless, octoroons and quadroons were still discriminated against, classified as mulatto or black, and often subject to slavery. Louisa was a child of exquisite beauty. She was a pale-skinned girl with a complexion like fine porcelain, a brown-eyed girl with long black tresses that flowed like a delicate river. Her lips were like a pomegranate cut in halves. She embodied the ideal of beauty by which quadroon girls were judged and often found lacking. Her perfection eclipsed all other quadroons. Her being admired by so many often led to sibling rivalry, especially with her sister Drusilla. Although Drusilla was a beautiful girl in her own right, she always felt she was judged because of her tinted hue, which displayed typical quadroon features. However, Louisa's eldest sibling, Jemima, understood Louisa's beauty. She knew that Louisa was the exception of so many octoroons and quadroons, and that Louisa's exceptional beauty caused her grief, which resulted in Louisa many times being misunderstood. However, Jemima always felt it was her responsibility to guide her sister away from being misunderstood and the inevitable ensuing conflicts. Although Octoroons were able to live freely around Randolph County District 52, many Octoroon farmers would often lead separate lives in other districts, Beverly or Philippi, thus creating constant fear of repercussions. Randolph County was the largest county in Virginia. District 52 was located between Beverly and approximately 10 miles from Philippi in Barber County, Virginia. When Louisa was a child, she would always daydream on the farm. When she was 15, she would often find herself walking around the woods, desperately searching for a new world. She loved being around the beautiful trees, taking in the fresh air and listening to the birds. She often imagined being someplace else, a place that was hidden from her brothers and sisters, a hidden place that would take her away from hopelessness and despair. In her quiet moments, she would often look to the blue skies and daydream about her life, a life all planned out. She wanted a life in which she could travel and go, where she wanted and actually talk with any kind of person. Although free, she was still labeled as not able to explore and often referred to as a second-class citizen. She wanted to be accepted, to be a person able to accomplish her hopes and dreams. However, she knew that in order to not be labeled and observed as a second-class citizen, she would have to leave her farm, leave Randolph District 52, and explore outside of her present world. She knew that to leave might not be as easy as planned, but she also knew that if she stayed on the farm and continued to live a life of constant fear, she would be stuck there forever. Although being an octoroon allowed her family to live in an environment better than those of free Negroes or Negro slaves, she felt that she deserved a world that offered her so much more. A world of color, a world in which she could live, learn, and grow, a world far away from Randolph District 52. Chapter 2, Anna's World. At times, Louisa resented her mother, Anna, because she knew that the isolated community of District 52 was Anna's world, and that to Anna, this was the ideal life. An existence of somewhat restricted freedom and harshness, albeit sovereignty within the district. Anna was born in 1820 in District 52. She was the only child of an Octoroon mother and father. Her kind was neither white nor Native American nor Negro. Unfortunately for Anna and her family, the white race with which she, her parents, and her children bore the nearest kinship rejected them completely, and Negro and Native American races they could not rightfully claim. At a young age, Anna was brought up to believe that her life was privileged because of her skin color. By the principles of her father, Peter, she was taught to believe that, based on their white ancestry, she was part of a large class and had a higher social status than a Native American or Negro. Anna knew that her mother was Octoroon of Native American and Anglo-Saxon descent. Her father was Native American with Irish heritage. Anna was proud of her heritage. She was proud of knowing what she was and represented. Anna believed she lived in a better life than free Negroes and slaves. Although many of her ancestors were indentured servants working on farms, her family had sovereignty. Anna knew that her freedom was limited and that if she ever wandered outside of her environment, slavery was always justified. Thus, she knew that within the Randolph district was her independence. Her father, Peter, taught her to always stay with other quadroons and octoroons in her district. Unlike her daughter, Louisa, Anna was humble and abided by these rules and never questioned her father's authority. Anna never knew her mother. She knew only that her mother had died of consumption. Anna was the type of girl who always honored her father's wishes. She knew it was her obligation to help with farming the land, cooking and cleaning. They didn't have a lot, but they had family and a home with land and animals. The main crop of Anna and Peter's farm was corn used to feed cattle and hogs. The cabin on the farm was made with timber siding for the walls and had windows. There were flowers in the front and adjacent gardens. The cabin consisted of 3 rooms with the same dimensions of about 16 by 18 feet, with a door and a fireplace. The rooms were separated by a hallway. Anna and her family were able to live off the land and mainly a steady household, maintain a steady household. She knew that District 52 was always a safe haven, far from danger as long as Octoroons didn't try to blend with white society. The fears of most Anglo-Saxon Americans were based not only on racial class, but also social class. The fear of many Anglos was that of a blended society in which Octoroons have the same economic opportunities and freedoms afforded to whites. Further, the ideologies of blending the world created a desperate conundrum in white society. Many whites believed that the ideal of crossing provinces and passing for white was not only unlawful, but also appalling. Thus, Octoroons within Randolph District 52 were disassociated from certain parts of Virginia. The lifestyle inherited by Anna was never difficult for her. She believed that her kind should always obey Virginia laws for the greater good of others, but she believed that her life was fated and nothing else mattered except for family and farming. However, Louisa had her own beliefs, contrary to Anna's. Louisa knew that farming was not for her and that, if given the opportunity, she would do what was necessary to find her own way. She knew that life was bigger than Randolph District 52, and she was destined to live another life, even if it meant departing from her relatives and never seeing them again, regardless of her relationships with them. She knew that her beliefs were contrary to her mother's and disheartening to her grandfather, Peter. She knew that leaving the farm meant that life would take her to so many places. She wanted to live in a place and home where she could live life to its fullest and wanted to be with someone who would adore her despite her heritage. Every morning, Louisa had to get up and tend to the farm with her older sister, Jemima. And every morning, Louisa resented her obligations. She resented the farm in District 52. She knew that if she did not want the same lifestyle afforded to her mother, Anna, she never felt like she was better than her family. She simply believed in her heart that she deserved more. And perhaps Jemima understood how Louisa felt because she had the same reservations about their life on the farm. Jemima was always felt a strong connection to Louisa. Jemima was born 5 years prior to Louisa's birth, and being the oldest, felt it was her responsibility to look after her siblings when her mother and grandfather were farming. During the process of tending to the children, Jemima developed a strong fondness for Louisa. She would often watch her play with her siblings and note how eager her younger sister was to blend with others. There were many occasions that Jemima witnessed interactions between Louisa and other young women. Jemima noticed how other young women would behave around Louisa. She would notice how the girls in Louisa's age group were judgmental, and the younger ones would imitate her. Jemima knew that Louisa was never sure who was authentic in her friendship and who was merely envious. For this reason, Jemima was especially empathetic with Louisa. Although there was just a 5-year difference in age between the two girls, Jemima felt Louisa was her child. It was as if Louisa was brought to Jemima. Jemima felt the need to watch over Louisa and be responsible for her actions. In a way, she felt pity for Louisa because she knew that although Louisa had a kind heart, she would always be judged because of her looks and the attention she often received from the opposite gender. Jemima knew Louisa's heart was pure and that she loved everyone. However, she also knew that Louisa wanted to be as far away as possible from District 52. Unfortunately, Jemima didn't know where Louisa would go and at what cost. I have read you chapters 1 and 2 of Love on the Mulberry Grove. If you're interested in learning more and reading more, please visit our website, www.teresastyles.com, to see more books and to actually purchase Love on the Mulberry Grove. Thank you.